Good evening, I'm Jennifer Edwards. Thanks for joining us tonight. Victoria Sheehan has the night off. We begin tonight with new developments in a homicide investigation in Tuscaloosa. Two men wanted in connection with the shooting death of a 17-year-old male are behind bars tonight. WVUA reporter Tommy Townsend joins us in the studio with details in tonight's top story. Tommy?
Thanks, Jennifer. According to Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Lieutenant Kip Hart, just 5 days after the shooting at River Road condos on Jack Warner Parkway, authorities have arrested the two men they believe were responsible. Now, I spoke with a resident of the condos, and he says he can rest easy now that all is safe, and he hopes to put the whole situation behind him.
They shot him before he had a chance to get away, and then they pulled out of the parking lot and left him here to die.
John Drake described what happened the night of the shooting at River Road condos.
I heard two gunshots, and it woke me up, and I came to my front window and saw what was going on in the parking lot. I called 911, as did several other residents here.
Soon after the calls came in, Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide's Kip Hart says crews were on the scene in minutes.
It was determined that a 17-year-old male, Matthew Hunter Callahan, had been shot to death.
The two suspects, 24-year-old Timothy Thornton and 18-year-old Keontae Furr, are now in police custody.
Keontae Furr was located early this morning in Savannah, Georgia, and has been placed in the county jail there.
Authorities say Timothy Thornton turned himself in around 5 o'clock Sunday night. John Drake says even though a shooting happened right outside his window, he still feels safe in his own home.
Very gruesome thing, very scary. Well, it is a freak thing. I've been here for 5 years, and we feel like this is a very safe community.
He says hopefully the River Road community can now go back to normal.
It's very comforting to know that those people will be soon incarcerated.
Now, according to Lieutenant Hart, Thornton is being held in the Tuscaloosa County Jail and Furr is being held in the Chatham County Jail in Georgia. Jennifer?
Thank you, Tommy. Another big talk about today is the weather. Much of West Alabama saw rain showers at some point today and some pretty strong winds as well. Here is some video from the University of Alabama campus where there are still some remnants of the rain. So is this what the upcoming week will look like? WVUA's Isaac Williams joins us now for a check on your home team forecast. Isaac?
Thanks, Jennifer. As you can see, we had lots of clouds and rain showers over the area earlier today, like Jen talked about. Most of that activity is now being shifted off towards the east, but hey, it did dump lots of rain, at least south of Interstate 20. We only managed to pick up over 3/10 of an inch of rain here in Tuscaloosa, but look off towards the Gulf Coast, 2.42 inches of rain in Biloxi, nearly 2 inches in Biloxi, Mississippi. And no rain to speak of tomorrow, though. 62 degrees for your morning temperature. Sunshine returns, though, tomorrow afternoon. We'll see upper 70s likely by tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. But if we have any more rain chances in the forecast, I've got the full details coming up later in your home team weather forecast.
Thank you, Isaac. Now looking forward to the day ahead. Tomorrow is April 15th, which means we are about 24 hours away from that looming income tax deadline. But what are some things you can do to make the deadline? According to associates at H&R Block, tax procrastinators can get extensions if they need them, and you can actually wait 3 years to file for a return. H&R Block client service leader Katie Morgan says if you owe money, you need to pay it as soon as possible.
If you file the extension with the IRS by April 15th, it gives you until October 15th to file your tax return, but it does not give you an extension to pay. You need to go ahead and pay, set up arrangements with the IRS to make the payment if you have a balance due, so that you're not taxed with, also tacked on with penalties and interest.
For more information on United States tax laws, you can go to the IRS website at irs.gov. Turning now to news from around the state of Alabama. 2 years ago on Monday, the first of many damaging tornadoes in 2011 hit the state of Alabama. And Governor Robert Bentley visited Boone's Chapel Baptist Church in Prattville this morning to remember that day. These are pictures of the church's property that was destroyed when a tornado struck on April 15, 2011. Today, 2 years later, the church is reopening its doors. Bentley attended the dedication ceremony for the new church, which now has a safe room where residents can take shelter during future severe weather. Now an update on Governor Robert Bentley's 2014 campaign. where officials say he has drawn one largely unknown opponent for the Republican nomination in 2014. But some GOP leaders say he may not draw any well-known or well-funded opponents. Former Morgan County Commissioner Stacey Lee George has announced his candidacy, but Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey, House Speaker Mike Hubbard, Senate President Pro Tem Del Marsh, and former Governor Bob Riley say they don't plan to run. Marsh says Bentley is in a good place for re-election because the economy is improving and there is no cry for change. Well, back here in West Alabama, A-Day is quickly approaching and local businesses are gearing up and getting the fans excited. Midtown Village is hosting an A-Day giveaway where you may have a chance to win a gift card to certain stores. Bama Fever, Chipotle, and Luca are just some of the places you can win gift cards. Bama Fever sales associate Wayne Williams says the giveaway is just one way to promote A-Day.
It's one of our biggest weekends because since it's free to go to, everybody can afford to come. And so we have people from out of town, we have people from like everywhere come.
Other places included in the giveaway are Alumni Hall, Panera Bread, the Athlete's Foot, and Shades. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is like Midtown Village on Facebook and register. Topping the news around the nation tonight, gun control remains on the minds of United States legislators. A compromise on gun control drafted by a Republican and a Democrat may seem like a fairy tale, but West Virginia's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and Pennsylvania's Republican Senator Pat Toomey presented a deal last week that extends background checks for gun sales to include private purchases at gun shows and on the internet. Reporter Christina Muchler has more on how the plan is getting the support of key red state conservatives.
Washington dubs it Manchin-Toomey after the Democratic and Republican senators who came up with a compromise for expanded background checks in gun sales. John McCain, a leading GOP conservative, says he wants to know more about background checks for internet gun transactions, but gives it a preliminary thumbs up.
I've got to give them credit, and I want to look at it, but I'm very favorably disposed.
Republican Senators Mark Kirk and Susan Collins are also supporting the bipartisan measure, but there is still some conservative pushback. Alabama Republican Jeff Sessions told ABC he doesn't think the deal will pass and complains that current gun laws are not adequately enforced. Republican Mike Lee of Utah can't get behind it either.
This bill, I believe, would do more to limit the rights of the law-abiding than it would to actually prevent violent crime, and that's why I can't support it.
Senators Toomey and Manchin say the compromise targets criminals and anyone classified as mentally ill.
This is about whether or not it's reasonable to try to make it more difficult for dangerous people for whom it's already illegal for them to have weapons to obtain them.
Toomey says the bill could come to a Senate vote as early as Wednesday, but that it's an open question whether it will have enough conservative backing to pass. In Atlanta, Christina Muchler, WVUA News.
Also in United States legislation this week, Senator Marco Rubio says a proposed immigration bill is expected to be introduced. The bill will not offer amnesty to those who entered the U.S. illegally. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Japan on the last stop of his Asian tour. The visit comes at a sensitive time for the region, with North Korea threatening its neighbors and their American allies with war. Kerry's visit included a stop at a 620-year-old Buddhist temple and a talk with university students. He later met with his Japanese counterpart, Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida.